The windshield wipers of Jack's beat-up pickup could barely keep up with the storm. His eyes were tired, bloodshot from a 12-hour shift at Macklin's Auto, but sharp enough to navigate the winding back road. The truck's heater wheezed, losing the fight against the cold. A half-eaten sandwich sat on the passenger seat beside a worn thermos and a battered toolbox. He was reaching for the thermos when he saw it, a shape in the ditch. At first it looked like debris, a tarp, maybe, but then it moved. Jack slammed on the brakes. The truck skidded into the mud and stopped with a jolt. He threw the door open and ran out into the downpour. "Hello? Hey, you okay?" He shouted over the rain. The figure shrank back. As Jack approached, his heart dropped. A young woman, drenched, trembling, sat slumped against a lamppost, her clothes torn and soaked through. Her hands were raised slightly, and that's when he saw it. A thick, rusted chain padlocked around her wrist and looped around the post. Jesus. He crouched down, shielding her from the rain. Her lips were blue, her eyes fluttered. "Who did this to you?" he asked. I don't know. I just woke up here." She was barely audible. Her voice trembled. "It's all right," he said, voice gentler now. "I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm a mechanic, see?" He held up his grease-stained hands. "I got tools. I'm gonna get you out." From the truck, he pulled his toolbox. The chain was too thick for bolt cutters, so he grabbed his handheld grinder, shielding her with a tarp to block the sparks. The tool screeched, throwing off bursts of orange light. She winced but didn't scream. Finally, the lock gave way with a sharp clink. The chain slid off her wrist. She collapsed into his arms, unconscious. Back in the truck, Jack wrapped her in his jacket, cranked the heater, and sped off into the storm. Mud streaked across the windshield as he drove, one hand on the wheel, the other checking her pulse. "Who the hell chains a girl to a pole in the middle of nowhere?" he muttered. He glanced at her pale face again. Even beneath the bruises, there was something, elegance maybe, grace, but he shook the thought off. Right now, she was just a girl who needed saving, and he was the only one who'd stopped. Jack kicked open the door to his trailer, carrying her inside. His place wasn't much, just 4 walls, a creaky couch, and a dented stove, but it was warm and dry. He laid her on the couch, wrapped her in blankets, and started a fire in the small wood stove. As the room filled with golden heat, he moved. Fast, soup on the hot plate, towels from the cabinet, extra blankets from his bed. She stirred not long after. Where am I?" she whispered. Jack crouched beside her, holding out a cup of soup. "You're at my place. Took you out of the storm. You were chained to a post. Remember anything?" She shook her head slowly. "No, just darkness. Then rain and pain." "Easy now. You're safe here," he said. "Name's Jack." She hesitated. I don't remember mine." He saw the flicker of panic behind her eyes but didn't push. Instead, he handed her the soup. "Chicken. Noodle. Ain't fancy, but it'll warm you up." She sipped slowly, hands trembling. Her eyes roamed the room, pausing on a faded photograph, a little girl and a woman in a nurse's uniform. "Your family?" she asked. Jack followed her gaze. "My mom and sister. Mom passed when I was 18. Took care of my sister after that. She's in college now. Got out of here." She nodded. "Not many people would stop on a night like this." "Yeah, well, guess I'm not like most people." For a moment, her eyes softened. The rain outside fell steady against the tin roof, but in here, there was peace. She drifted into sleep beside the fire. Jack stayed awake in the chair across from her, watching the flames and wondering who she really was. Morning brought fog and silence. Jack left a note, "Be back soon," locked the door, and headed down to the gas station. He needed coffee and answers. The TV behind the counter droned on. Continuing coverage on the disappearance of Celeste Marchand, heiress to the Marchand fortune, missing for nearly 3 days. Jack froze. The screen showed a photo, a young woman in a designer dress, her smile dazzling. Celeste. It was Hurstel. He dropped his coffee. The cup shattered. "You all right, man?" the clerk asked. Jack didn't answer. He was already running. By the time he reached the trailer, she was gone. The couch was neatly folded, the soup bowl clean. No sign of a struggle. Then he saw the note. "Thank you, Jack. You saved me without asking who I was or what I was worth. That means more than you'll ever know. I had to leave for now, but I won't forget. Celeste." He stared at her name. So, that was who she was, the missing heiress, worth billions, and she'd slept on his couch under a $12 quilt. He sat in the silence for a long time, gripping the note, knowing the world had just shifted under his feet. 3 weeks passed. Jack kept working. He didn't talk about her. He didn't need to. The garage was quiet one evening when the black Rolls-Royce pulled up. Its polished exterior looked wildly out of place next to rusted pickups and muddy tires. Jack stepped out, wiping his hands. Celeste emerged from the back, her coat long, her eyes steady. "Hey, Jack." "Wow. And here I thought I hallucinated the whole thing." She smiled, real and soft. "I had to disappear. The people who took me were trying to send a message. But I escaped before they could finish it. The FBI's got them now." She handed him an envelope. Inside, a deed, paid in full, and a check that could buy the whole block. "I can't take this," he said. "You didn't ask who I was. You just helped. This is just setting the scale right." She looked around. "Your shop's got potential." He chuckled. "Sure, if you like rust." "I like honest," she said. There was something in the way she looked at him, unspoken, electric. "I've got a car that needs fixing," she said, stepping toward the rolls, "and maybe a life that needs a little grounding." "You sure?" Jack said, grin tugging at the corner of his mouth. "My rates are criminally honest." "Perfect." He climbed in beside her. The engine purred. They drove off together, not toward a mansion or a spotlight, but toward something real. A month later, Jack's garage had transformed. New. Tools, clean walls, a repaired lift. But more than that, a new rhythm, a quiet partnership. Celeste brought him coffee and handled the books. He taught her to check oil and argue with carburetors. "My father wants me back in New York," she told him one night sitting on the workbench. "Penthouse, security, the whole cage." "You stayed," he said without looking up. "I did." They worked in silence. Then, "What if I stayed for good?" she asked. "Help run the place, help you." He finally looked at her. "You sure? I yell at machines, and I forget to eat, and I'm not great at talking." She smiled. "You saw me when I was broken, and you didn't walk away. That's all the talking I'll ever need." He stepped closer, kissed her. Not out of impulse, but because it was time. When they pulled apart, she whispered, "I finally feel unchained." "You were never the one who needed fixing," he said. Outside, the sun set behind the garage. The lights flickered on inside. And somewhere between oil stains and second chances, two people once lost had found home in each other.